My first job was modeling hats and junior hats. The buyers from the stores would come to the wholesale house and they would tell me what hats to pick out and put on. And that was my very first job. And the salesman would take me around to the various buyers, Macy's and Lord and Taylor's and Altman's, and I would try on the hats for them. And that was my job.
Did you have other jobs?
Yes, my other job was, I met a young man, and no, he was the one about the hats. The other job was very interesting. I had a temporary job at Stern Brothers in the toy department for Christmas. And this beautiful woman came to the counter, white-haired, blue eyes. She said, "I need presents for my grandchildren." So I ran around picking out what I thought would be appropriate. I don't know how I knew what was appropriate, but evidently it worked. She said, "Oh, you're a good salesman." She said, I'll be back to see you again." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but tomorrow's my last day at the job." She said, "Really?" She said, "Well, after New Year's, you come and see me." And she gave me her card. I said, "Bergdorf Goodman." She was a designer. So I went there, and she said, "I'm sending you up to the employment office." And I went up, and the man looked like Groucho Marx, interviewed me. And he said, "Yes, you'll be at the appointment desk on the second floor." So I was there until I got married. And of course, nobody worked in those days. If you were married, you just didn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just were a married lady, which was stupid as hell, but, but that's the way the time was. But I was there, I guess, for a couple of years, and I had a wonderful time there. A lot of fun, and spoke to a lot of important people.
Well, you were telling me, who did you meet there? You met famous people?
Well, Mrs. Stokowski, who was the wife of a famous orchestra leader. Gary Cooper came in with his wife. All kinds of, quote, upper-class people. Well, who could afford it?
How old were you when you got married?
I was 22. Yeah.
And how long did you know Marc?
Marc?
Yeah.
Well, probably 6 months after we met, he wanted to marry me. So that was interesting. He had a buddy, and they both were interested in me. And Marc said, "I think I'm going to Australia." So he made me make up my mind real fast. Yeah, we had a wonderful, happy relationship.
That's what he did when I met him. He went to Australia.
He never went to Australia.
He did. He did.
Like grandfather.
See, I didn't know that story. So.
That's very funny. Well, I guess that's the getaway that clinches the deal. That's very funny.
Did you have a big wedding? Small wedding?
I did, and you know what was really, looking back, it was really stupid and pathetic. I arranged my own wedding. My mother was incompetent, and my aunt, who could do everything, didn't do anything. She only pointed out the hotel. I got the flowers. I got the hotel. I had my wedding dress made in Bergdorf Goodman. I did everything, and it's stupid me. I'm just realizing I never got a photographer.
Oh, no. You don't have any wedding photos?
Not one.
Oh.
Really?
Isn't that pathetic?
And no one in your family took, I guess they didn't take pictures then. There was only photographers.
Nobody did anything. They came and they ate.
Do you have invitations?
Huh?
Do you have any invitations?
Oh yes, I had invitations printed. I did, but nobody said be sure to get a photographer, or even somebody informal come in and take a picture. It didn't happen. But I did have a beautiful wedding dress and a beautiful veil, and I remember ordering the flowers from a woman who lisped, and she. Yes, would you like roses? Yes, would you like roses? So yes, I would like everything. So that was it. Oh, she's falling asleep on my wedding with her behind up in the air.
And then you lived in New York City? And then you got married and lived in New York City.
And my mother-in-law wanted to help me pick out an apartment. And she stayed in New York, although she was from Chicago. So I didn't look for an apartment until she went home.
Because you didn't want her help?
No, I did not want her help. I didn't think it was her place. Mm-hmm. First of all, she was from Chicago. And then I didn't like the idea of her trying to take the place of what my mother couldn't do.
Right.
I just couldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
Well, we had a good relationship in spite of it. At the end of her life, she said to me, "You're an angel."
That was your mother-in-law?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of making it tough for me right along.
What was her name? Her full name?
Dora Weil.
Dora Weil.
Yes.
And they were from Chicago?
From Chicago, yes.
And she was married to, what was her husband's name?
Harry Weil.
Harry Weil?
Yes, he's a very nice man and a sharp businessman. But I remember going to a family party, and this one uncle who was so self-important, he came over and he said to me, "I don't understand you." And I said, "You don't have to."
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are so funny. You try to squash somebody. Didn't work.
Mm-mm.
Un-squashable.